Welcome guys to a brand new video on Wuthering Wave. So since Cartethyia is finally in the game, we can take a look at the calculations of how different her damage is without having her best in slot Chacona and also her weapon as well. So I've previously alluded that the increase in damage is kind of insane if you have a weapon and if you have Chacona as well. And I also want to make a video in the future talking about whether Cartethyia, is a free-to-play friendly character. Spoiler, no. Just pull other free-to-play friendly DPSs in the game. We have a lot, okay? I don't really like the new negative status elements teams that they've been doing because it obviously has issues, okay? Now, let's talk about the calculations. And I know people are going to say it does not matter if you don't have her weapon. It does not matter if you don't have Chacona because you will be able to clear the Tower of Adversity. Well, I am here to say every 4-star character can clear Tower of Adversity if you put investment into them, okay, and actually learn the proper moveset. Yes, they can. So it's not really a valid argument to discredit how, better she's going to be with having Chacona and having her weapon when every 4-star character can literally clear TOA. It's not about whether you can clear it, it's how easy it's going to be, how much better the team feels in general. And that's why it's also important to also look at the numbers as well and focus on if you really want to get Cartethyia if you can't create her best in slot. Now, there is one thing you can do. Pull Cartethyia right now and then in the future, pull her best in slot. That is fine if you really enjoy Cartethia's gameplay, and I feel like everyone enjoys Cartethia's gameplay. I really want to say she's a must pull just because of how amazing the animation is, but at the end of the day, it's up to you guys to decide what you guys value in your account. She looks absolutely amazing. I love the fact that she can transform, but we need to take a look at the numbers to determine whether or not the damage increase is substantial enough to get annoyed about or just keep going about our day. So I do have her. Absolutely amazing. I haven't really used her, I can't lie. So let's go ahead and take a look at the calculations that we have. So we're going to be using two different calculations. We're going to be using I Win to Lose Gamers calculation, as well as this guy on Twitter's calculation. Now the calculation seems to be accurate because based on these weapon calculation and comparing it to I Win to Lose Gaming, it is kind of the same, okay? Kind of the same. So I'm going to trust this calculations as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. First thing we want to see is the weapon differences. Now, I personally do think a weapon is very important to a character's DPS. However, I am more particularly worried more about the need for best in slots teammates than the weapon. But let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon in general. So shout out to I Win to Lose Gaming for having the actual numbers over here. So there we go. So this is the spreadsheet. Why is it not showing? Sorry. Right there. So this is the spreadsheet for the weapon, okay? So the free-to-play weapon is the Emerald of Genesis. It is the free 5-star weapon. I'm saying free 5-star weapon because every single one of the standard banner weapons are free, okay? You should not be using your standard banner pulls on the characters. It makes no sense. The characters suck, okay? The weapons is what you should be putting in, and if you're a free-to-play player, you should be summoning for the weapons and hopefully have all the 5-star or most of the 5-star standard banner weapons for free. Okay, so if you take a look at the calculations over here, we can then compare. So we do see the Emerald of Genesis over here with 78.5%, and then if we go over to the other calculation that we have available from this guy, we can see as well it is 76.11%. So like I said, the calculations are roughly the same as well. So comparing it to, so it's only like a 20% decrease in damage. So is that something worth talking about? Absolutely. Because if you pair this weapon increase plus the best in slot, you kind of get a huge increase in her own personal damage, which is very important to pay attention to. Since she's a main DPS, you obviously want her to deal good amount of damage. The Emerald of Genesis is pretty much the best for her if you're free to play. 4-star options are just not as good. So yeah, 78.5% over here, comparing it to the 100% from her own particular weapon. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look. Actually, so my own opinion, 20%, roughly about 20%. Is it something major? I don't think it's the highest. So if we go over to Pride Win real quickly, I think we have other characters that have really substantial increase in personal damage from the weapon. In fact, Brant is the main one you should focus on, where his build for his weapon is a 38% increase in his damage. This one was disgusting, and I'm hoping I'm happy, that Cartethyia does not fall under the same category in terms of overall damage increase, comparing it to like the Emerald of Genesis over here. Okay, so if you take a look at other DPSs as well, for example, Carlotta, though, this is the main reason why I don't think if you're free to play you really should be putting for Cartethyia, since you have Carlotta, you have Camellia, use 4-star characters, and the build is way easier, and it's only like a 17% increase. Now that extra 4% or 3%, is it massive? Not really. But so again, I don't really want to focus too much on the weapon, because yes, the weapon provides huge insane benefits to her, to personal damage, but it is not like a disgusting amount. Okay, so let's move on now to the main thing we need to pay attention to: the difference with having Chikona and not having Chikona. Now, the numbers, the future AC gamer here, I recently had to re-record half of the video because Pride Win has actually released their own calculation, so it's worth looking at as well, so we can see how strong Kateia is as a free-to-play player. I will release another video talking about how strong she is for whales. Like, Kateia is the most easiest character to recommend to whales. If you have Kateia and you max this character out, she is instantly the best character in the game. She can solo content. It's crazy. Okay, absolutely crazy. Now let's go over to the calculations over here. Now, so this is the calculations from S0 all the way to S3. Now guys, she has one of the most insane sequences in the game. I am even currently contemplating getting her to S3. I haven't even gotten a weapon, but S3 and a weapon is the craziest damage dealer in the game. It's absolutely disgusting. So I'm really contemplating that. But if you take a look at the build over here and you see the weapon difference, they have actually calculated the weapon difference to be 26.89%, comparing it to the Emerald of Genesis. And they also in the reviews says she heavily dependent, very expensive. Again, I don't think Kateia is the best character for free-to-play players. However, she does perform. Again, I have seen people actually use her with Sunher, and it actually looks like a pretty decent rotation. It is not as bad as Phoebe. It's not as bad as Zani without Phoebe. That rotation was disgusting. Okay, of course, more. Since this is the official release, it's only been like a couple of hours, we are going to still see more videos showcasing the gameplay, so we can better understand how the gameplay is going to be like for free-to-play players. But I don't think it's as disgusting as it was with Zani. Okay, so very expensive character. She needs signature weapon reliance. He also requires that character. So if you guys are still going to tell me in the comment section she is not, I am wrong about her not being a free-to-play friendly unit, you guys are silly, absolutely silly people. Okay, so that is it about the weapons. Now we're going to go back to the teams. Okay, so if you go over to here, comparing the team, this is a free-to-play team over here with 68.87%. Now another team with Chikona R0, which I feel like a lot of people have. I was first going to compare it to R1, but at the end of the day, no one really has Chikona R1 if you're trying to like invest in Kateia, but not too much. Okay, so we just go with the bare minimum, which is Chikona R0 and Rover, and that's 87. So that's slightly under 20% damage increase. So with the weapon, that's 20% from this calculation from I win to the lose gaming. It's like a 20% increase from the weapon, 20% increase from having Chikona. That's 40%, roughly 36 to 40% increase in overall damage. Now if you go over to this guy's calculation over here, where we have the team over here, we have Chikona at S0 with static miss. This is the total team damage. This is the investment you can do that is not too crazy, and that's 64k. And then if you go over to having a free-to-play team, I believe this is Cartethyia R1 though, so it's not Cartethyia R0, so you still need the weapon, and it's currently at 45. So This is with though Shorekeeper and Era Rover. There is one with Sanher that actually is good. So yeah, there we go. So this is the Sanher one, 46. So there is a big difference, okay, big difference, but it is not as disgusting as it was with Danny, in my opinion. I would say it's not as disgusting, okay, just because the team gameplay does not seem that bad, but of course I need to see more gameplay. So there we go with the calculations and my own opinion. I think she is extremely free to play friendly, but she is still good, and I feel like if you really like this character, you can pull her right now and just wait for a rerun for Chikona and you will be fine. But you also need to get her weapon as well. You kind of need to, you really want to get her weapon if you want to see her deal insane amount of damage, and I will be going to get her weapon in a couple of pulls. I'm just going to go ahead and play the game. Yeah, solid character, absolutely insane. I don't actually like her playstyle though. I was trying to watch a video on how to actually use her. I think Zanny was a little bit easier with Phoebe. Like I really prefer that gameplay rotation, and like it was dummy easy with Fleur de Lis and Cartethyia. It's a little bit more tricky, you know, because there's a certain rotation you have to get used to doing with Cartethyia. If you don't do it, it's going to affect you a lot. So yeah, it's a learning curve, but it's something we have to go through. I still prefer, like, if I had Phoebe, well, I have Phoebe and Zanny. I really like that team comp. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's been your boy AC Gamer, and I'm out.